Hello, everybody. Welcome to Global Hack Week Open Source Week. And today we're going to be talking more about MCP servers. We just had our initial session earlier, a couple hours ago, on how to use GitHub Copilot agent mode and connect GitHub MCP server and MyMLH MCP servers to the LLMs. Now we're actually going to go hands-on and try out some more MCP servers that are even more powerful and more practical in your everyday development workflow. So let's see where everybody's calling in from. Let me know where you're calling from. So we have some friends from Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, thank you so much for welcoming me back to the stage here. We got some more friends from Qatar, Canada, Nigeria. Excellent. I love to see it. Thank you all so much for coming. From Houston again. Excellent. And Germany. So really people from all over the world are tuning in. Pakistan, Guatemala, and Kenya. Wow, we got quite a crowd today. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, we got someone from India, 2:40 a.m. Well, thank you so much for tuning into my stream, but be sure to get some sleep as well. All the streams will be available on YouTube if you want to revisit them. And yeah, awesome. London, we got Lily from London. Kenya, Puerto Rico, Nigeria. Awesome. All right, let me hop over. Let me actually paste in the checking link. If you have not checked in, make sure you go to the checking link so that you will get your Global Hack Week's points. And here is a link to our checking event I just sent in chat. And just make sure you click register and check in. And just like that, I got my points. All right, excellent. So let's jump right into my intro. My name is Wei, a coach here at Major League Hacking based in Florida. And a fun fact about me is I have made 20 million pull requests on GitHub. So some of you might have already seen this if you went to Hack the Valley, but I literally just hit 20 million pull requests over the past weekend. So definitely hit me up after if you want to know how I did it. Now, yeah, just a reminder to make sure you check in. Another reminder here, we definitely want to make sure that you get the points, and as well, if I want to share any resources, I will add it to the event, so anybody who checked in will get them. With that, here is a very quick, brief outline of what we are going to cover today. All right, so we will cover what is a MCP server. We will cover what is a MCP client. And then we'll actually go through a live demo of at least 4. I'm hoping to cover these 4 MCP servers. I'm hoping I can cover these 4. But if not, don't worry, because this is a part 1 out of 3 sessions that I'm hosting. Part 1 of 3, as you can see here. So we can continue in the next one. With that, does anybody know what an MCP server is? Maybe someone from my last stream, or maybe you have dabbled with MCP servers before. Like in one sentence, maybe 5 words. What is an MCP server? Let's see if anyone has any idea, any comments on that one. All right, we got one. Model Context Protocol, JSON for AI, provides tools and capabilities to LLMs. That is a great summary. Standardized APIs, yep. To expose to LLM. A way for AI agents to access tools and data. Excellent. Yeah, these are all very, very good summaries. Yeah, great job. API on steroids. MCP server, API for AI. Yes, that's how I would summarize that as well. So Let's watch. I don't know if there's audio here. I saw there's like a 2-minute video, less than 2 minutes. I'm hoping there's audio. If not, we can turn on closed captioning. All right. Yeah, so no audio for the video. That's a-okay. I did turn on closed captioning. Hopefully that helped a little bit. But hopefully that kind of gave you a brief idea of what a model context protocol is and what it's capable of. We'll look at the actual documentation site, modelcontextprotocol.io, to actually look at what they say MCP servers are. So if we look here, MCP is an open source standard. So a lot of you mentioned APIs. API is a standard. So this is a kind of standard for connecting AI applications to external systems. And these are things like chat. So essentially to the left here, you'll see AI applications. You can consider all the things on the left MCP clients. So things like ChatGPT website, Claude desktop, or maybe your IDEs like the Copilot chat that you're using, or the Copilot agent that you're using in VS Code, or even other AI applications that you're using. These can also be like custom applications that you built, maybe custom chatbots that companies have spun up to handle customer service and anything like that. So all those are considered MCP clients. All right, and then to the right, you can see these are things that are exposed through MCP servers, right? So to the right, you can see access to databases, right? Including Google Drive, Postgres, SQLite, maybe MongoDB. I have that on my list here, so maybe we'll play with MongoDB a little bit towards the end. It also has access to Git, right? It's through our GitHub MCP, which we tried. Also other development tools that you can use on VS Code. We'll go through a few as well. So here we have GitHub MCP, Context 7 MCP, and even Chrome DevTools MCP. So all those are considered dev tools, maybe a little bit of a productivity tool as well. And yeah, so you can also interact with things like Gmail, Google Maps, Google Flights, so anything you can think of that has an API, you can interact through MCP. And AI agents, they don't really have to understand every single MCP server, because through the MCP standardized protocol, all the tools, all the descriptions, all the available actions are exposed to the AI through natural language and through a structured tool definitions. So hopefully that gives you a quick overview of what MCP servers are capable of. And in the meantime, I'm going to swap my banner on the bottom here. Please ask me any questions whatsoever throughout this session. I want this to be an interactive workshop, and you can follow along if you like, or just watch me go through different examples here and hang out. So yeah, definitely check out this page. I sent that link in chat earlier. Yep, here it is. Thanks, Ryan, for the video link. All right. Can everyone let me know in chat how many of you already have Copilot installed on your VS Code? Give me a +1 if you have it. So it should look something like this on the right-hand side. Excellent. So we got a bunch of people replying. That's great to see. I don't know if I can click through all of them. So many of you just jumped in. Awesome. So it sounds like most of you have VS Code with GitHub Copilot already installed. So we don't really have to go into too much detail on how to set that up. But if you're new to this, just make sure you search for GitHub Copilot in the extensions pane to install GitHub Copilot extension, just like this. And it should pop up to your right. And if you haven't already, you can get the GitHub Student Developer Pack, which will give you access to Copilot Pro, which will give you all these premium model access. All right. And from the last session, I have already installed the official GitHub MCP server. So maybe I can uninstall it and just do it again for those of you who are new. So I can just click this gear here and click on install. All right, and I can just reload our VS Code window here, and it should be gone. I still have my MLH MCP server. I'll just leave that there for now. But if you look, if you have the latest Visual Studio Code, you should have this MCP servers panel. And in addition, there's like a little magnifying glass here, which will bring up the extension store for MCP servers. You can see all the available options to the left here. So we'll go through quite a few of them. We'll go through GitHub, Context 7, Chrome DevTools, and maybe if we have time, we will go through MongoDB, which is somewhere on this list. Hopefully I can find it later. All right. If this is your first ever MCP server installation, just make sure you go to GitHub and click install. So click on this one and you can click install. And it will ask you to authenticate. Since I've already authenticated through my VS Code, I can just click my name here and that will log me into the GitHub MCP account. So some of you have already given me some suggestions during the last session of like what to ask AI just to see if the tool is available and it's set up properly with authentication. If any of you want to give me another suggestion of like what to ask GitHub, that will be great, and we can ask GitHub that question. So this is a repeat. You can click on the tools on the bottom right here to see exactly what tools are enabled for our AI agent. Once we click on it, you can see a ton of built-in tools available. You can also collapse it and see all the tools that GitHub MCP server exposes to the LLM to interact with your GitHub account. All right, so we did like what are some of the projects I have been working on, right? In the last session. So it looks like we have someone in chat with a great suggestion. How many commits have I made for this year? Let's see if Copilot is able to find it for us. How many GitHub commits have I made this year? All right, and I might use Grok for this session just to save on some tokens since it's 0x. It's free right now, so I might just do that and see how well it works. All right, because I have a ton of tools enabled, it might be a little bit slow, but yeah, hopefully, yeah, see, you may experience degraded tool calling above 128. So I'd highly recommend you uncheck the tools that you don't need so that you can save on some tokens as well. And it looks like it got my user profile, and right now it's asking to fetch a page to look at all the contributions that I have. So from January 1st this year to today. Okay, I think it's now trying to use the GitHub command line to do it. It looks like it didn't really like that. It might be because of Grok, or it might be because like GitHub does not provide an easy way through the MCP server to fetch all my commits. But you can see it did fetch my user profile properly. It got my username, and it was able to try to assemble something to query for it. All right, we have in chat, can I get a quick about this? Can you just explain what you mean, and we can help you out? Maybe which repository has the most stars? Okay, well, that hopefully shouldn't be nearly as much work for the AI agent. How list my most popular repositories. I'll just do repos. Okay, so you can see my top 10 most popular repos on this list here. All right, great. So let's just go down the list here. This is a demo workshop, right? We want to really see like what are some capabilities of GitHub MCP server. So let's take a look at all the tools here and see if there's anything that jumps out to us that we can try out. Anything interesting to anybody? So you can create. Maybe we can create a new gist. Maybe we can create a new gist with this README. That might be something interesting to try out. So I'm going to create a new chat session and say, create a gist for this README file, something like that, and click go. Okay, and it looks like the correct tool call is being triggered. Create gist using the GitHub MCP server and click allow. And just like that, a new public gist has been created, and I can open it up on my browser here and see it in action. So now a new gist has been created. That was pretty cool. What else can it do? What else do y'all want it to do? What is a gist? That's a great question. So gists are snippets of code that you can share with other people. So GitHub has GitHub repos, right? You can have a full-fledged project, but GitHub also has what's called a gist. And gist essentially is something that you can quickly drop down, maybe a markdown file, maybe some README, maybe some code snippets that you can create, save, and share with other people without having to create a full GitHub repo. So hopefully that helps a little bit on explaining what a gist is. It's very handy if you're trying to share a little bit of a code. All right, perfect. Quick question in chat, will there be a recorded version available after? Yes, absolutely. All the sessions will be recorded on YouTube under Major League Hacking channel, so you can find all the recordings there. Okay. So we used a couple features for GitHub MCP server. What else can we do? What else can we do with GitHub MCP server? Maybe we'll do one more thing here. What's a good one? Star repository. That's pretty cool, right? You can star a repository. Let me go to my repository real quick. You can see there are no stars right now. I can just say star this repository. Okay, start with repository and create an issue. To create an issue, what should the issue say? To update current coaching events for November, maybe something like that. So you notice I chained two actions to this command, and right now GitHub has MCP server has suggested This tool runs star repository. I'm going to click allow. That's going to trigger it, run it. And then if I go back, actually before then, it's asking me to open a new issue. I will allow that as well. So you can see the check mark on both items and the summary. I've started the repository and created an issue. And you can view the issue here. So let's actually go to our repo here and refresh. You'll notice I now have a star. And if I go to issue, it has been created for me directly from my chat. I didn't have to go to GitHub or anything like that to get those things done. So just imagine all the possibilities. Maybe you're going through some amazing projects. Maybe you want to do something, start all the projects you're interested in that's mentioned on the documentation here. Or yeah, anything like that, you'll be able to use GitHub MCP servers for. And thank you, Ryan, for the suggestion. All right, making group and work on projects. So Global Hack Week isn't a typical hackathon. You can work on challenges or you can meet people on the MLH Discord server and collaborate if you'd like. All the challenges are available on the website right here. If you are interested to solving some of those challenges, I will link that in the chat as well. Can you check GitHub repos and get something like 10 interesting projects to do a first contribution? Yeah, so there are websites like, I think actually, let me just go to GitHub right now. I think there are topics that you can use. GitHub topic, good new issues, good first issue, GitHub topics. So you can look through any repository with good first issue. And right now it's Hacktoberfest, right? So if you search for GitHub Hacktoberfest topic, yeah, all these projects have are welcome contributors. So definitely take a look at this topic and try to contribute to some of those good first issues. Awesome. This is a great point, Ryan. Might be something better suited for Perplexity or something, or another AI agent with real-time search capabilities. Exactly. All right. So we're 30 minutes in and we are 1 MCP server down, 3 to go. So has anyone heard of Context 7 MCP? Let me know in chat if you have heard of Context 7. Hi, 404, you are not late at all, right on time. Tell me about Context 7 MCP. Does anybody know what that is? Have you tried it? What are your thoughts on it? This is really hot right now, so let me turn on the AC so that I don't burn. Okay, excellent. Should be on momentarily. All right, 404, you are on time, exactly. So Context 7 is actually a very, very cool MCP server. It's one of the first MCP servers that received a lot of traction. You can go to context7.com to take a look. So essentially, as I mentioned in my last workshop, LLMs, AI, like they are trained on up until a certain date. So for example, the Gemini Pro models are trained until January 2025. That means any new documentation, maybe a new version of the software you're using, the library you're using in your project, has released some updates or patches. But the AI doesn't know that. There's no way for it to know because it only is aware of knowledge up until 10 months ago. So Context 7 is a tool that gives the AI the capability of retrieving up-to-date documentation on any project that you can think of. So here are some popular projects, but really, like it has access to documentation, getting started guides, code, troubleshooting steps for every single project that you can think of in the open source world. All right, so some of you said you're not yet familiar with it. After this session, you will be an expert. All right. There are a few ways you can install Context 7 MCP server to use it. And one of the many ways is using our extensions panel and just find Context 7 in the list. Context 7, install. All right, and then you'll see you can put in a Context 7 API key. This is optional if you want to get a key that has more limits. But for now, I'm just going to continue without the key. All right. And now, if we go to our extensions panel once more, you'll see we have both GitHub MCP and Context 7 MCP servers installed. And we can also click this tool icon and see exactly what Context 7 MCP server gives us. So it gives us 2 tool calls available for LLM to use. One is resolve library ID, and one is get library docs. So let's see. Does anybody have any library or maybe platform like Cloudflare or any tool that you have been using in the last, I don't know, let's say a few months, maybe 2-3 months? Anything that you have been trying to set up? Let me know in chat. I'm using Ubuntu. I cannot add MCP servers. So we can troubleshoot that later. You should be able to add them in the extensions panel. So make sure you're using the Visual Studio Code, the latest version of it. That way you can see the MCP servers panel here. Okay, so maybe I can ask AI a question. Like MCP servers are pretty new, to be honest. A lot of the libraries came out after January. So if I actually go to Google, I can search for Cloudflare. I use Cloudflare workers, build MCP server, something like that. I can do it myself, right? I can click on it. Okay, so here's the documentation that was just released 2 days ago. Build a remote MCP server and things like that, right? And it has commands of things I need to run and all the other good stuff. But if I don't want to Google, I can actually just type in here. How do I create a remote MCP server using Cloudflare workers? I should really give it a hint here. Check Context 7 for docs. This will just help the Grok LLM right here to use Context 7 to check for the documentation instead of trying to find this information within its memory. So you can see first tool call has been triggered. It's trying to resolve a library here. And allow. It's now getting some documentation from Context 7. We'll keep allow. Maybe I'll just allow for this session so I don't have to keep clicking it. Allow for this session. All right, and it was able to get some documentation. And you can see it tells you exactly what that web page was trying to explain to me. It even gave us some sample commands here and exactly like the step-by-step instructions on how to build one, how to deploy one, and how to get started. And you can even click on the follow-up links here or ask follow-up questions. And our Copilot agent will reach out to Context 7 for additional support there. Cool. Give me a +1 if you like Context 7, if you find it to be useful. This is especially useful if you're working on a project using a library that you have not used before, because using Context 7, the AI agent will be able to look for the documentation it needs on the version that it needs, and try to use that knowledge and apply any fix or new features. Awesome, we got so many +1s in the chat here. Thank you so much. I know this +1 is a lot easier to type than thumbs. So if you can do thumbs, great. If not, +1s work just as well. All right, quick question from chat. Cannot find the GitHub MCP extension. What is the name? So if you go to the extensions panel on the left and search, there's a search icon. Click on that. You should see a list of officially published MCP servers on the MCP registry. So you should find GitHub from the list here. Hope that helps. MCP for docs is a cool idea. Yes, this is so useful. If you're using any coding, AI assisted coding tools, I highly recommend you just set this up so that you can always get up-to-date latest information. Because I can't believe like how many times I have to deal with an old version of Next.js or something that the AI just spins up because that's what it knew at the time it was trained. So definitely use context 7 so that it will get the most up-to-date information. All right, does anybody have any other libraries they have been using? Any frameworks they're working on that you'd like me to try live on stream here using context 7? Let me know in chat if there's anything that you'd like me to try. All right, MCP of Figma will be insane. All right, let's take a look. There is actually a Figma MCP server right here. It's in open beta right now. So definitely check it out if you're interested in integrating that with your project. But if I don't know how to integrate this, I can actually ask, how do I use Figma MCP in my project? Check context 7 for docs. Wonder what it's going to find us. So Figma MCP. All right, excellent. So it looks like it found a unofficial, Figma MCP server an open source project that someone built, and you will be able to connect to Figma directly from any AI assistant. All right. So that is context 7 MCP. I highly recommend you get that so that you can always work with the latest documentation. We're just doing a sample of all different MCP servers today. The next one I want to show is a very cool one called Chrome DevTools MCP. This is released by the official team from Chrome, I believe, and it will give you access to Chrome browser. Anything you can think of, anything you can do, click, drag, view, settings, anything you can think of in Chrome can be controlled by Chrome DevTools MCP. So let's install and try it out. And once you click install, there are a few options you can choose from. Do we want to run Chrome headless or not headless? I'm going to select not headless. This just means like we will actually see the Chrome browser open up and can interact with it instead of the code just kind of opens it up in the background. So we'll run it not headless. All right, and then we'll just keep going with the defaults for all the options here. And just like that, our Chrome DevTools MCP has been installed. All Thank you for your comments here. All right, question in chat. Does MCP work with any other AI like Gemini Code Assist in VS Code? Great question. I recommend checking out the Context 7 website, since this is one of the most popular MCP servers. And if you click on MCP server link, it will take you to the GitHub for this Context 7 MCP server. And inside here, it has instructions on installing it on any client, any MCP client here. So you can see we have Gemini CLI setup instructions. Yeah, you can see a ton of them. If it's not on this list, I suspect it is not supported. So just double check this list. Quick question in chat, do we need to sign up for Context 7? You do not. Context 7 sign up is optional. You only need it if you're using up all your free daily limits. So if you need more than your usual usage, like for a normal user, you might want to sign in and sign up, and they'll give you an API key with higher limits. All right, thanks for your questions. Keep them coming. With that, let's hop over back to our VS Code. Another question in chat. I want my agent to have access to a Google Drive folder on a Chrome browser tab. Could Chrome DevTools? So tell me about that. Like, what do you want it to do? Do you want it to create some folders, or do you want it to arrange files, or what are you looking to do? In the meantime, let's actually open up just make sure this server is running. And as you can see, when I click the gear here, it is running. All right, and then I can do something like, does anyone have any like websites I can play with? I know there is a good website for testing called Sauce Demo. Sauce Demo? No. Is it it? Maybe? All right, let's try it. We'll try to log in manually just to see if it works. Okay, that's fine. We're not going to save this password. And then we can check out, and then we can put in our name, zip code, and then check out. All right, excellent. So that domain is saucedemo.com v1, right? All right, so let's check out the Google Drive example afterwards and see if it works. So for now, I'm going to ask our Copilot agent here, use Chrome DevTools MCP to open and check out. Let's see, what do we want to check out? Just as an example, something we can do. Maybe, what do we want to buy, everybody? Sauce Labs bike light. That looks pretty cool. And then buy Sauce Labs bike light, and let's buy something else. Sauce Labs backpack. Test all the things t-shirt looks pretty cool. Let's do that. My name is Wei, and zip code is 33333 as an example. All right, I've never done this before. This is my first time, so let's see if it works. I'm going to click send. Maybe I should use a different model. That's a little bit more premium, but we'll see what happens, and we can try again if it doesn't work. And while it's thinking, we can take a look at the MCP tool here, Chrome DevTools MCP, and you can see all the different available like events that's exposed to the LLM. Click, fill, console, new page, take screenshot, everything you can think of. So maybe I should try a different model. So maybe I'll do Sonnet 4.5. Is that better? We'll give it a second. Let's check back in chat here. 404, take care. Thanks for dropping by. Can it sign me up for hackathons in my area on MLH? That is a great question. That is a great question. We can actually try it out in a little bit. So yeah, okay, you can see our AI agent came back with, okay, I want to request executing the new page tool. I'm going to say allow in this session. Okay. All right. We have the page open. It opened a new Chrome window and it opened up the page. All right. And then filled out the form. Sounds good. Allow. Okay. Filled out the form with the standard user here. Can I just allow everything? I cannot. So I will just keep going. Allow. It's going to try to click. It's taking a snapshot of the state of this web page, and it clicked login. Now it's reviewing this page. See, taking another snapshot of this page as is, analyzing like where are all the items. Looks like it clicked the cart icon, but nothing was added to cart yet, so it came back and went ahead and clicked both items we talked about. Went back into the cart. Now it's entering the information. Taking, okay, continue. Boom, and just like that, an order has been placed. So AI was able to do it in like a minute or two. That was pretty impressive. What does everyone think? Give me a thumbs up or +1. I think that's pretty impressive. All right, pretty cool. Thanks everybody in the chat. So we talked about signing up, registering for hackathons, right? Let me actually log in to my MLH account first. Hacking.com and grab a code from my email here. Four 77154. Boom. All right, so I'm logged into my MLH account. So now I can do something like use Chrome DevTools MCP, register and check into Global Hack Week Open Source Week on something like that, because all our events are listed. Our Global Hack Week events, anyways, are listed on this under this URL, right? Yep. So I'm hoping the AI will come here, find the open source week, click on it, click register, go to my go to this page, and then click register and check in. So let's see if AI can actually do it. Register and check in to Global Hack Week Open Source Week. Boom. All right, it's gonna try to help me do this. It's all right. It wants to navigate to a new page. Allow in this session for now. Working. Taking a snapshot of the page. All right, you can AI can see that open source is happening October 10 to 16. It found the link. Excellent. And it's looking at this new tab. So this is a completely new tab that it's managing. It's taking another snapshot to take a look at what's on this page. Maybe it can't. Let's see. Okay, it can see a register button. Click on it to complete registration. The suspense. Oh, I see. So it was still looking on the Global Hack Week, initial Global Hack Week page. Now it's going to the events page. All right, so it looks like there are a lot of questions here. Is it able to, okay. A registration form has appeared. Now it's trying to enter some information here. So let's fill it out together here. Allow for this session. Let's see if it can fill out this registration form for us. Clicking on United States, maybe? Okay, so it looks like it filled out this thing, geographic region, North America, and with my name Wei here. It's trying hard to figure out how to fill out the country. We'll just approve everything and see if it can actually do everything, fill out the form for us. Let me make this a little bit smaller maybe, so that we can see more of the web browser. All right, so continue to iterate. Yeah, so it selected United States. That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna click continue. And it tried to register, but a lot of these boxes are required. So yeah, it did not work. It thought the registration was successful, but the form closing is not a indication that the registration was successful. So, oh, maybe, okay, it's trying again. That's cool. At least it knew something didn't work. If we provide more details about the form, it will be easier to fill out. Yeah, for sure. So let's give it maybe a couple more minutes. If it can't figure it out, I'm going to just say, give it some like help, essentially. Really interested. Yep. So you can also try out different LLM models, right? So I'm using Claude Sonnet 4.5 actually without a system prompt. So if I have more context about the task, I can provide it. If you look at my original request, it's literally register and check in. I didn't give it any information about me. So it was able to figure out from the code base, because I'm running it on my profile README. It was able to find my information, where I live, United States. It was able to find my GitHub username and fill out the form, which is really cool. All right, it looks like we just need one more checkbox and we should be good, right? All right, in the meantime, while AI, okay, so I think some of you asked, like, how big is the context window? As you can see here right now, Copilot is compressing the conversation history so that it doesn't use up all the context window, right? So it's doing that right now as we speak. And let's go to chat again. How long will the session be? So the session will be 1 more hour, 2 hours total for this one. Just dropping in. What is, okay, great. Just like that, it was able to register me and check me in to Global Hack Week Open Source Week. It did have a little bit of hiccups, but I did not do anything apart from approving the commands. And our Copilot coding agent was able to, utilize Chrome DevTools MCP and find the event link from the Global Hack Week homepage, try to fill out the form with the information I have, with the information it knows about me, and check me into the event, which is really cool. GitHub Copilot working with Chrome DevTools MCP server. Yes. Can I now just have it check in for me? Of course. So I will send you this prompt. You can probably improve it a little bit. Maybe add some more information about the checkboxes and things like that, so that the AI doesn't go back and forth too many times. That was pretty cool, right? Is there any other website I should try? So we tried an example e-commerce website from Sauce Labs. We tried the MLH Global Hack Week check-in. Anything else I should try? Lily, thank you so much for your comment. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Ryan, for jumping in there. Excellent. Okay. And of course, I already showed the basic, like if you look at the VS Code, the built-in tools, like it already has a lot of great features. It can fetch web pages, and that's what I used to fetch MLH events in my last workshop. But with the power of Chrome DevTools, you literally have access to a whole browser. Anything that you can do in Chrome yourself can be done through AI, through MCP servers, right? So hope you install it, play with it, and I'd love to see what you're able to build. Now let's talk about Google Drive, maybe. We talked about Google Drive, right? So let's see if it can handle Google Drive okay. But I might have to log in, which is going to be a little bit of a pain. So let me think what is the best way to do it. Okay, maybe I'll try to log in first, and then I'll drag the window back up here. Google Drive. That's one thing that's super useful, because this is because you can control the browser yourself, right? A lot of times when you just fetch a web page, you're not logged in, and it has bot detection and things like that. But with the browser being open, you can control it along with AI and resolve any issues that may come up. So right now I'm logging into my Google account. Let me find my password here. Right at majorleaguehacking.com. All right. Get in code. My account is very secure, so it's taking a little bit of time. Okay, Google Drive.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Let me maybe upload a few files to it. Let me go to my documents, maybe here. Okay, I have some banners I can use. So I will do something like this. For the record, I don't know if it's gonna work or not, so I'm hoping it does. So I'm uploading some images here, some image assets here. All right, so now I have some banners and images. Okay, let me go back to chat here. Pull live weather data, not a bad idea. Eric traffic control status, yep. That's cool. Is there any website I can try? Definitely let me know, like if you can think of any good websites for it. I can maybe also ask it to search on Google and stuff like that, right? Is there a way to use AI agents with MCP? That's exactly what we're doing right now. We're using AI agents, the Copilot AI agent with the MCP server. Make a tweet. Yes, for sure. All right, so before we get too deep into all that, I'm going to ask, let's see, use Chrome DevTools MCP, organize my folder at this URL. My Google Drive folder at create subdirectory for all images. Create a subdirectory for all images named backgrounds and move images inside. Something like that. See what it does. Maybe I'll try a different model this time. What's a good one? Gemini. Let's try Gemini. Go. So I will actually close this window and have AI open it up for me. That didn't work. So maybe Gemini is not the best choice. Let's try Sonnet 4. It's opening a new page. Okay, opened up my URL. Taking a snapshot to see the page. It's able to find all the files here and one PDF file. It's clicking the new button to create a new folder. Backgrounds, that's the name I picked. All right. Now it needs to move all the images into the folder. It's going to select the first image. It's actually going to use the drag feature. So instead of like right-clicking or something, it's actually going to try out the drag feature. That's another tool the Chrome DevTools MCP server has exposed. Okay, it doesn't look like that worked. So it's trying something else. Now it's going to maybe use the organize button and move it into the folder. Backgrounds. Hopefully it sees the folder called backgrounds. And move. Awesome. So there's 3 more. It's going to try again. Maybe do the same thing. Continue. And it's doing the same thing to share and organize it into a folder. So hopefully that showed you some of the capabilities of Chrome DevTools MCP. It literally has access to the whole Chrome browser, not just controlling the web page. It also has access to the DevTools as indicated by the name. So if you want to inspect like networks, inspect performance, check console log messages, you can do all that with Chrome DevTools MCP. Highly recommend you check it out if you're interested. Looks like the drag did not work, so it's probably going to do the context menu option again. It's able to really try different approaches given the constraints. So I'm sure in the future, as the MCP server improves, it will be able to provide even more capability and options. Yep. All right, and question in chat, can it bypass the CAPTCHA? That is a great question. Does anybody have a good CAPTCHA website I can try? CAPTCHA demo. I don't know if it will be able to see the images and stuff. Maybe. ReCAPTCHA demo, maybe? Okay, let's try it. Let's try this one. Okay, so it's still trying to move the file. Maybe, like, we already know it can do some of the things it's not as good at. So we're going to stop it in the interest of time. Unless it's close. Oh, okay, yeah, it's going into the folder. So I'm going to stop it. So let's just call this a partial success. Now I'm going to close it. Let's try out CAPTCHA, right? One of you mentioned it. Can it bypass the CAPTCHA? Test CAPTCHA site. Excellent. It's actually not very easy for me to copy it, so I'll have to type it out. Wonder if it will work. So this is my usual browser. Did I misspell? PATRICK HLAUKE. Oh, .io. That's why. Okay. I'm curious. Go to and click the checkbox. Let's use, what's a good mod? I mean, Sonnet 4 did pretty well. Maybe I'll try GPT-5 this time. I'm just curious if it will perform any different. Use Chrome DevTools MCP. Oh my god, the AC is too strong now. Let me turn it back down a little bit. Okay, that should be good. All right, looks like the ReCAPTCHA website. Am I saying this right? Okay, I think it worked, everybody. It's a W. It's a W. And it even took a screenshot of the success. Cool. I bet it's very proud of itself. All right, last thing we're gonna try is get the weather. So let me just stop and then open up a new tab here. Open AccuWeather and get weather information in what's a good place for me to get. Who wants to know their weather this weekend? Give me a city, everybody. What's the first city? We should make it pick all the fire hydrants in the photo. Yeah, I'm sure with the multimodal LLMs, that's going to be like a breeze for them. No more difference between human and machine, exactly. All right, looks like we have Houston and Italy. So let's do both. Open AccuWeather and get weather information in Houston and Milan. Okay, and then use Chrome DevTools MCP. All right, while it's running, let's answer some more questions in the chat. Just jumping in, can I get an overview of everything covered so far? Yeah, for sure. So in this session, we are hands-on MCP servers. We learned about MCP servers, MCP clients, and we're actually going through some of the awesome MCP servers that GitHub has provided for us in the DevTools, in the, what is it called, MCP registry. And we've learned GitHub MCP, Context 7 MCP, and right now we're trying out Chrome DevTools MCP. All right, it looks like AccuWeather is open. Let's see what it does. Trying to get my location, or no, show notification. I don't need to show notification. So you might notice like, oh, it even created a to-do list on the top. Can you see that? So Copilot agent is able to analyze our requirements and really understand what we're trying to do. Okay, Houston with weekend forecast, Milan, and summarize them into a report. So the new page has already been opened, so I don't know why it's still stuck in that step. Okay, so it just took a little bit of time. Maybe there are some background scripts that we're running. It's now taking a snapshot of this page. In the meantime, let's answer a question here. I am new to MLH. There are a lot of channels and info on Discord. Where to start? That is a great question. So Global Hack Week is a great place to start. And by coming to the streams, you can learn new things and engage with our community. It looks like AccuWeather has an ad. Do you think our agent is able to identify it and close it? Oh, it did. It actually went in and clicked the close button on the ad. Isn't that cool? All right. So yeah, join our streams and attempt our challenges. Definitely check out some of our challenges as well. And what's more is I highly recommend you check out the MLH member events. So if you're able to go to any of the hackathons or events near you, that would be the best place for you to experience MLH firsthand, the MLH community firsthand. So go to that link if you want to learn more. So looks like we got the Houston weather here, hopefully. It's taking a little bit of time. I don't know how much time we want to wait. So after this task, I'm going to switch to our last MCP server, which is going to be the MongoDB MCP. I want to show you some of the power that MCP server provides us. But we'll give it a couple more attempts here. Taking snapshot failed, timeout. So this page must have a lot of junk scripts behind the scenes, running behind the scenes. So maybe AccuWeather isn't the best website to look for it. Maybe we can just use Google. Use Google to instead. There, let's use Google. Awesome. New to MongoDB, excited to learn more. Okay. Yeah, they came to the right place. Awesome. And it looks like Google is much better at giving us a response and in a much cleaner display here. Let's hope our AI is able to find it. Okay, it even is toggling through temperature, precipitation, and wind tabs to get the full picture of the weather this weekend. Okay, now we have Milan. I know this is in Fahrenheit, so let's see if our AI will be able to give us Celsius as well, maybe. What happened to my screen share? Here's my screen share. Okay, all right, perfect. We got weekend forecast summary. It looks like it's using Fahrenheit here for consistency. That's excellent. Oh, it even asked me, like, do I want to add Celsius or pull hour by hour details? I think we're good to go. We know the capabilities of Chrome DevTools MCP now, and I hope you integrate it into your workflow or your applications. And last but not least, let's try out our MongoDB MCP server. So first up, I need a MongoDB database. Lily, thank you so much for giving us a city and engaging in chat. All right, let's go back to our MCP tab and select MongoDB. So you can just install it right here. But before then, I need a MongoDB server for me to play with. So I'm going to mongodb.com. I think it's mongodb.com. And log in. And log in with Google for now. So this is the MongoDB Atlas Cloud, and they give you free databases for you to use in your projects. And here I already have a test cluster set up. Maybe I can do like a browse collections. And I actually have imported some sample data sets. I didn't know how to import them initially, but I asked context 7. So I'm just going to show you what I did. I'm not saying that we'll do it right now, but use context 7 to find docs that imports sample data into MongoDB Atlas Cloud. So that's essentially the question I asked our context 7 agent, our MCP server, and it's able to give me some information on how to do that. And I use the instructions to create these 4 sample collections. So first up, we have sample Airbnb. So take a note of these names. I'm going to ask everybody like which one I should use. So sample Airbnb has a collection called listings and reviews. And if we click on them, you can see each document has some URL, name, summary, and like bedroom, bathroom, and all the other good stuff. So that's the Airbnb along with the review. Where's the review? Maybe there are more fields. Reviews. Yeah, perfect. So you can see everybody's reviews here. The second database is analytics. So this one has accounts, customers, transactions, so more like for business. Third one is, I think this is like a Netflix type of thing for movie collections. So you can learn about different movies. And inside the movie, you have title, directors, language, cast. Does it have any ratings or anything? That might be interesting. Oh, it has the movie, like movie ratings, rated G, awards. All right, excellent. Theaters and things like that. Comments. Okay. And lastly, we have sales, supplies. So these are items, orders, I guess, that maybe an e-commerce site has been keeping track of. So let me know in chat which one I should use for our demo. Airbnb, analytics, Mflix, or supplies. We'll take a quick toll here in chat. Take a quick poll in chat. Anybody? Which one should I use? I might do movie. Mflix looks like a pretty good option. Analytics. Lily likes analytics. Mflix is winning right now. Mflix. More Mflix. So we'll do Mflix first. Okay. So I have the database now. I can show you exactly how I imported the data. You can see here are the instructions I followed to load sample data into the collection, and they even linked you to a documentation page directly on MongoDB's website on how to do that, both locally as well as on the UI. So very, very useful stuff. Just wanted to show this thing real quick, and that's how I got started. All right, now I need a connection URL. So let's look for connect, and I can do connect your application. Here is the full connection URL. So I'm going to copy that and just paste it in here for now. Here is my connection URL, but I do need a database password, and I don't remember what I put. So let me just reset it real quick. Password, how do I reset the password? Security, user, configuration, no. Has anyone used this before? Let me know. Advanced, quick start, database access. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to change my password, edit password to Global Hack Week. Oh, no, choose my own. Open source, GHW open source. That sounds good. Update. Never save. And that is my connection string. All right, that's all I need. I can then install the MongoDB MCP server just like this. You can read more about how to get started, but for this session, I'm just going to click install here. And it asks you what is the connection to your database. I'm going to paste my connection string and go next. And just like that, it's up. It started. I can actually look in my tools here and click into MongoDB MCP server. I'll make sure it's checked on so that I can use some of the tools, update tools. maybe for now I will turn off some of the other tools so I don't. Okay, I'll turn off GitHub for now, and then the MongoDB MCP server. Excellent. This is now good. And I can now ask MongoDB, show me my MongoDB databases. Something like that. And it's using the list databases MCP tool call, and it found my collections. Okay. Maybe let me zoom in a little bit more for this demo here. Okay, I can then ask a question. What are some collections inside the mflix database? Okay, perfect. So essentially using the power of my MongoDB MCP server, you're able to interact with your database without writing any queries. Like in the past, if you want to query for something, right? And let's say if I want to get all the movies, where's my collections? Go to my mflix. If I want to get all the movies, I don't know, that's from 2020 maybe. So I have to go in here. I have to figure out, okay, what is the query I need to do? I need to do like something like, I don't know. It's just a lot of work, right? I can literally ask MongoDB MCP server in natural language, find me movies in 2020, released in 2020 with at least 3 nominations, something like that. And it's going to analyze our schema and come up with the exact query that it needs. Okay, and it looks like it returned 0, 0. Okay, so the most recent movies in the collection appears to be from 2014. Okay, so I can say, find me movies in 2010 and something like that. And it's able to persist that context and, you know, filter by all the movies from the year 2010. So I can then ask, for example, I can filter down further. I can say, I want movies with rating over 8.5. With a rating of over 8.5. And you can see it is executing that query. But it looks like it is losing the context a little bit. So depending on the model you're using, I'm using Grok Code Fast model, so it's probably not the best premium model. I need to give it a little bit more instructions, like all the movies released in 2010 that has a score IMDb rating. I guess find me top 10 movies released with the highest IMDb score, something like that. Okay, so it's able to construct that query for you. So essentially, like, you never have to construct it manually anymore with the power of MongoDB MCP server. What does everybody think? Like, you can literally interact with a database in natural language and just think about the possibilities, because you're using VS Code, you're using Copilot window to chat with your MCP server. You can also literally have MCP server integrated into your AI agent so that your AI agent can initiate these requests by itself on its own and return the data back to the user or for further processing. So this is super, super useful stuff to explore and to interact with your MongoDB database. So that's what I wanted to check. You can also use it to do more things. I don't know if we'll have time to show, but if you look through the tools that are available from MongoDB, you can aggregate, you can count, you can do some performance analysis, export the data, and check logs. So there's a lot of things that you can do for sure with the MongoDB MCP server. And I'm sure as they improve, continue to develop on their server, they'll expose even more tool calls. Maybe you'll be able to insert documents and create indexes and things like that. And all those can be done through the MCP server in the future. Awesome. Now, next question. Are you familiar with NVim or LazyVim? Oh, great question. So let's take a look together. You're asking if Copilot can integrate with NeoVim. Maybe it's a good question for context 7. Like, why am I going to the website for this, right? Can I use GitHub Copilot with NVim or LazyVim? I should clarify. Use context 7 for docs. So while we wait for that, let's go down the question. Not long before, every single web app has just a chat interface to do anything. Exactly, and that's what OpenAI announcement was last week or this week. Essentially, they're trying to build everything into their agents SDK that runs on their ChatGPT chat window, and you never have to go to another app, another website to do anything. Okay, so here's the answer. Yes, you can absolutely use GitHub Copilot with NeoVim and LazyVim, and you can install it using the official libraries and plugins. So definitely check it out. Question in chat, how many databases are integrated with MCP? So you can have as many as you want. Right now with the MongoDB MCP server, as you can see in my history, I was just talking to it, I have these databases, but it will support as many databases as your MongoDB cluster has. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not a limitation of MCP. You are so very welcome. All right. Do we have any questions in chat? Anything else you want to see for this session? If not, we can go into a recap real quick. Agent experience, yes. Websites will now be designed for agent experience over user experience. Okay, so here's the Q&A time. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in chat. I'm going to do like a quick key takeaway during this segment. So basically we'll do a kind of recap of everything we did. So we first learned about MCP servers, what they are, MCP clients, what they are, what is the MCP protocol, and then we went in with the live demo of some of our MCP servers that are exposed, that's currently published on the MCP registry. Things like GitHub MCP, we used it to create a gist, we used it to fetch data, fetch projects, things like that. We used Context 7 MCP to ask about documentation, about code snippets, about common popular libraries, and about just documentation in general. We can get help with from Context 7 MCP. We then tried out the Chrome DevTools MCP. Using Chrome DevTools MCP, we're able to spin up a Chrome browser. We tried quite a few different things there, doing a checkout on the Sauce Labs demo website, e-commerce website. We actually went into Global Hack Week website and tried to register and check into the event. It actually filled out the registration form for us using my personal information, which is really cool. And we even used it to solve some reCAPTCHA challenges from Google, and were successful, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, and then we used it to look up weather for Milan and Houston. And lastly, we went into our MongoDB cluster. We picked a data set, which is the movies data set, mflix, and we went ahead and used MongoDB MCP to interact, to learn more about the databases, the collections, and run queries using natural language with the power of LLMs. So that is a quick recap of everything we've done so far. And tomorrow, I am running, actually, this is Sunday. If you look on the schedule, I am running the part 2 of Hands-On with MCP Server. So during that session, we'll actually create an MCP server from scratch. All right? And if we have time, we'll even publish it to the public MCP registry so that it will be included in a directory. So if you want to learn more about MCP, have any follow-up questions from this session, be sure to join in our Hands-On with MCP Servers Part 2. All right, so that is this link here. Be sure to register and come by. That's 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern on October 12th. So if you go to the link, you'll see the time in your proper time zone. And what else? What did I miss? Okay, so I would love to hear about your feedback. So if you have any feedback for me, please let me know. Maybe something you liked about the session, maybe something I can improve on in future Global Hack Week sessions. Please let me know. Here is the feedback link. I really appreciate it. That will help us a lot. And in the meantime, let me go back to Q&A and go through some of the chats that's come in. M-Time Ver, thank you so much for coming coming to the MCP workshop. Give me some best practices. All right, great question, great comment there. So definitely leverage the power of MCPs. So you can go through the list. This is the official list of MCP servers that are currently available. You should not be doing like repetitive work anymore, especially in the age of AI coding agents. Anything that you can automate, you should. That's my philosophy. And go down this list and see what are some of the other tools that you are already using. You can maybe integrate with the LLM, and with the power of there's a feature called agents.md. This file that you can actually put into to your project. The LLM will be able to understand your workflow, and you can even define custom commands and things like that to automate your workflow, so you do not have to do everything yourself by hand, which is very inefficient. And if there's anything here, maybe the Notion API that you're interested in, maybe Azure, maybe, yeah, you can look through the list, and you can even go to a website called MCP Registry. There are a lot of them out there. So this is the official one from GitHub, but there are like open source ones that have a lot more open source registries, open source MCP servers that you can explore. So you can definitely check them out. Hope that answered your question a little bit. All right, awesome. Yep. Hope to see you again in my part 2. Thank you so much for coming, Lily. All right, question. Is it possible to use from the API perspective? Of course. So there are MCP servers that are designed for building projects as well. If you look at the MCP protocol, there are specific features that are built into the protocol for managing, modifying files, and for specifically like coding perspective. So you can definitely check it out. But even without MCP, a lot of the large language models are already fine-tuned to write code. I recommend enable the context 7 MCP so that the LLMs can get the latest documentation to work on your project. All right, thank you so much for your comment here. Another question in the chat. Let me just go back to my slide here. Perfect. Are there any MCP servers for creative tasks like music generation and controlling smart home devices? I would be surprised if there are not. So definitely take a look on the websites I showed earlier and see if there are MCP servers available for them. If not, maybe you can create one to do exactly that and people will use it. Great session. Thank you so much for coming. Good night. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Awesome. Well then, if there are no more questions, please submit feedback. I just highlighted that link once more. I really appreciate it. And coming up next is going to be our Wikipedia Races event. That's happening in exactly 10 hours at 5 a.m. Eastern Time, and you can look up your local time as well. That is going to take place on our Discord server. Wikipedia Races is one of my favorite mini events, so you definitely don't want to miss it. And after that, we will be running a Get Good with Git workshop. And after that, we'll have our Today in Global Hack Week, day 2. And you can have a quick overview of everything we did on day one, and all the amazing sessions that you can attend on day 2. With that, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I hope to see you on Sunday. Bye for now. All right, here's the banner. Take care, everybody. Thank you.